What's good, everyone? This is day 3 of learning Roblox Studio. It's kind of been like 3 days since I recorded the last one because I got kind of lazy. I'm gonna be honest, but yeah. So I'm back again, and this time I'm gonna try to learn as much as possible. Yeah. Anyways, let's start.
Welcome back to my Roblox beginner scripting tutorial guide. My name is Braldev, and in this episode we'll be talking about 4 things that all link to each other to make this one video. Those being math.
Oh, I forgot to mention in the last one, I learned about functions and I think properties. So yeah, and this one is about parameters, math, and returns. And this is episode 7. So yeah, let's start.
Parameters, arguments, and return statements, but we're going to go through each of them one by one inside of this episode, and it's going to be one of the more important episodes, so I really want you to pay attention to this episode. So, first thing we're going to start with is learning about math. Now, I'm going to assume that you know like the basics of math with operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, all those sorts of things. If you don't know how to do those things, well then I don't think you're ready for this video. I'm sorry to tell you that. But I'm going to assume that you do know those things. So if that is the case, then we can go ahead and continue with this tutorial guide. So what we're actually going to do is go to the right side and disable our function script, and we're going to go through the same thing, which is hitting the plus sign in the workspace, searching up for a script, we're going to insert that, and then we're going to rename this script, so right click on it and then rename to math, enter, just like that.
Okay. Math, and then close this one. Could I get rid of this assistant? Because it's so annoying. Bro, I don't want to see the assistant, bro. Okay, I think I closed it. So.
Okay, and I'm also going to delete this statement right over here, so I'm going to hit Control A and then delete just like this. So, when we're working with math, so in this case it's going to be basic operations like addition, subtraction, all those other things. We basically take two numbers and then we do the operation that we specify in between those two numbers, and we can do this by having a variable if we want that to be the case. So what we can do is write a variable, so we're going to say local, and we can make this an addition variable. So we can call this just simply addition, but you can name this whatever you want to be. We're going to set this equal to two numbers with whatever operation we decide to use for this statement. So what we can do is put two numbers here, so we can say, let's say 2, and then we're going to say plus, so this is going to be a plus sign indicating addition, plus 2, just like this. And if we were to print the statement, so if we were to say print, open and close parentheses, and then we throw in addition over here just like this, and we go into the game, hit play, then what we should see in the output is the number 4. So if we click on it, we can see that if we put 2 and then we put a...
So I made a variable. Let's go back here. Called it addition, like local. Addition equals 2 plus 2. So basically the variable kind of like has the math, and then he just called on the variable to print it, to like show the answer. So print addition. I think it's like charging, so Okay, so it printed 4, but I don't really know what's happening to my thing. Okay, it printed 4, so yeah, that worked.
Plus sign with another 2, then that's going to be an addition of 2 plus 2, which is equal to 4, and that's going to be set equal to addition, and it's going to print that inside of the output with this addition variable. So I'm going to hit stop, and that is the basics of using math inside of your script. But there are other operations we can use. So if we were to, let's say, use subtraction, then we would replace this plus sign with a minus symbol, just like this, which is 2 minus 2. Or we can replace this with the asterisk. So if we hold Shift 8, then this is what the multiplication symbol looks like for 2 times 2, which is 4. Or we can replace this with the division symbol, which is going to be a forward slash. So 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1. And so that's what it would print out inside of the output.
Okay. So, okay. Okay, I guess that's exponent or modulus remainder. Yeah, I have no clue what that is, bro. I didn't even know you could do exponents. I guess that's good. No.
Here. So that's the basics of using math, but this is going to be very helpful for the next two things we're going to be talking about, which is going to be parameters and functions. So what I'm going to do is go back to our game, and I'm actually going to disable our new math script that we just created, and I'm going to re-enable our function script over here. So this is the script we created in the last episode. Now, if you remembered how a function is created, we basically have a local keyword.
Okay, wait. First, I want to do some math with these. I want to have some examples. So, make another local subtraction. Bro, I'm telling you, this AI is actually so annoying. It's literally telling me everything, bro. I don't want to follow it. In the next episode, like, I'm gonna try to figure out how to get rid of this, bro. Cause like, I feel like it's telling me everything. Like, this might be good later on, like when I actually know how to do stuff, but subtraction. The local. At this point, bro, I should just keep tapping this. Like, literally tell me at this point. Local division. Yeah, bro. Literally told me everything. All the answers, pretty much. Okay. So that's the math script. Now, I don't wanna, for the parameters that I was talking about, let's make a new script for that. Parameters.
With the function declaration right here, and then the name of the function over here, and then we have open and close parentheses. So what's interesting about these open and close parentheses is that we can add parameters inside of these open and close parentheses so that we can use whatever's contained inside of these parameters in this function to get different results depending on what we use to call this function with. Now, that may sound confusing to you at first, but once we use this in practice, it'll make more sense. So you at first use to call this function with results depending on these parameters in this function to get different results depending on what we use to call this function with. Now, that may sound confusing to you at first, but once we use this in practice, it'll make more sense. So what I'm going to do is delete everything that we've had in the script so far. So I'm just going to hit backspace just like this, and we're going to create a new function that's going to add two numbers together. So what I'm going to do is say local function, and then we're just going to call this just anything really. We're going to call this addition, open and close parentheses. I'm going to select the right side and then hit enter just like this. And I'm going to go down here and then call the addition function just like this. Addition, open and close parentheses. And now we have our function declaration and also our...
Okay, so pretty much you made a new function, local function addition. Right, okay. So like this. Then you wrote addition. Call the function. Local function addition, okay.
Function call right over down here. So this looks pretty similar to what we worked with in the last function that we created, but this time we're going to add parameters. Now, basically what a parameter is, it's basically a value that we can pass into this function so that we can use this value to make calculations within this function that we're calling. And so the way we separate these values is by, and the way we create these values is by giving a name for each of these parameters. So if we wanted to add two numbers together, what we can do is basically make the name for our first number parameter. So what we can do is say number 1, just like this, but we can really call it whatever we want. We can even say num1, and we can even say n1, but for this example, we're just going to say number 1 like this. And each value that we add into this is going to be separated by a comma. So I'm going to add a comma, space, and then we're going to add the second number into here. So we're going to say number 2, just like this. And so these are our parameters that we can put inside of here so that we can make our addition calculation.
Wait. Isn't that not like variables technically? A variable inside the function. Okay, number 1. Number 2.
So now what we're going to do here is with these two numbers that we have thrown into this addition function, we can create a result of the addition of these two functions. So we're going to say local result, or we can call this whatever we want, equals number 1 plus number 2. You can kind of think of these two numbers as variables for numbers that we pass into here.
Bro, I'm not even... Wait. You know, he said the same thing. Okay. I mean, I did watch these videos before, like, pretty much, like, a year ago, or, like, 2 years. I don't know, like, I watched it quite some time ago, so I do, like, remember a little bit. Like, I remember that, like, parameters were, like, inside the brackets, but, like, I kind of forgot, like, what they really did, but, and, like, how to actually do them. But, yeah, so, they're pretty much, like, variables inside of the function. And okay, so local result equals number 1 plus number 2. So give me another variable now. Local. Bro, I actually hate to say that, bro. Number 1 plus number. Okay.
And so we basically add these two numbers together to get our result. And so we can now print our result variable that we just created, which is the result of these two numbers being added together. So
Print the result. Okay, so print Oh, is it Control Z? I have no clue. I just did. Wait. How do I? Okay, undo. Oh, it is, bro. Okay, so Control Z. Yeah. Control Y. Control Z. Control Y. Bring it back. Okay, Control Y. Alright, so this. Then we have to print the results. So print result. So basically, whatever these two numbers are, we'll pretty much add together, and then the result of these two numbers will be printed.
Now that we've added parameters, what we need to do is add
And I'm pretty
arguments
sure we have to
to
write the
this
numbers
function
inside the
so
sum,
that it's
if I remember
basically represented
correctly.
as these two numbers right here. Now, what I'm talking about here is if we go down to the open and close parentheses inside of our function call, we can see that Roblox is telling us that we need to add a number for number 1, and we need to add a number for number 2. So in this case, we can add two numbers, let's say 5, and we can replace this with a comma, and then Roblox is going to tell us that we need a number 2 as well. So we can put in, let's say, 2. So basically, this is an argument, and this is a parameter. The difference.
So, okay, those numbers are the parameters, and the numbers inside are the arguments. Okay, so okay, let's write a note on this. Parameters. Number 1 and number 2 equal parameters. The number and the numbers are inside the function when called. Equal arguments. Okay, so 5. Wait, let's do 7 and 3. So do I have to write it exactly like that? Like this? Okay.
Difference between arguments and parameters is that parameters is what we use to basically create our variables inside of our function declaration, and this is how we make our calculations. The arguments is going to be what values we throw into this function for the calculations that we're going to be our function declaration, and this is how we make our calculations. The arguments is going to be what values we throw into this function for the calculations that we're going to create inside of here. Okay. So as a result of this, what we're going to do now is go into the game and hit play, and what we should see in the output is the number 7, because what we did was we took number 1 and number 2, we passed them in as the first argument for number 1, which is 5, and then the second argument for for number 2, which is 2, we add them together, and then we print out the result. I hope this part is making sense to you so far.
Yeah, I think so. So basically, like it calculates. Okay, so this part calculates the stuff. These two are just basically the variables of the number that you're gonna put in. Like they store the numbers that you're putting in here when you call the function, and these two lines of code basically calculate it and print the results into the output. So yeah. So 10. Okay, that's right. Yeah.
It's a very important concept you need to know about. And this isn't restricted to just numbers. You can literally put in any values you want inside of here. So this could be, let's say, a string, which is gonna be whatever it is, or it could be a Boolean as well. It doesn't really matter what it is, as long as the calculations are accurate, because obviously you can't calculate a string plus a number, and you also can't calculate a Boolean plus a number as well. So you have to make sure that whatever you pass inside of here is accurate to your calculations that you try and make. And I hope this part has made sense to you up until this point.
I
We
don't
can even
understand how
do
you
this
could put,
multiple
like, a
times
Boolean and string in your butt.
by dropping a line and then calling the addition function again. So we can put in, let's say, 3 as the first number and then 2 as the second number. And we can even add another addition function right here, which is, let's say, 9 for the first number and then 4 for the second number. If we go into the game and hit play, then what we should see in the output is different results depending on the numbers that we gave this function. So now this function gives different results based on the arguments that we give it versus giving us the same results every single time we call this function, which is why parameters and arguments are very powerful when it comes to adding these inside of your
Okay, so
functions when you make them inside of your scripts. Now, there's one final thing we're
so addition. So we could, like, we don't have to do plus. We could also do multiplication and other stuff, I think, as well. Depends on how we write it. That thing. Okay, so let's see. So let's do 8. Let's do 4 and 5. Let's do addition. Let's do 1 and 3. Right there, okay.
We're going to do before we end off this video, and that's going to be introducing return statements. Now, basically what a return statement is it's a value when it gets calculated, it's going to return that value so that it's going to go back into where we called this function. Now, I don't know if that completely made sense to you, but if I where we called return that value so that it's going to go back into where we called this function. Now, I don't know if that completely made sense to you, but if I showed you through scripting, then I think you'll be able to understand it better. So what I'm going to do is delete these function calls to make this more simple, and instead of printing this result value, what I'm actually going to do is return this result once we calculate what number 1 plus number 2 is. So I'm going to delete this print statement, and what I'm going to do instead is say return in all lowercase, and then we're going to return this result. So we're going to say result just like this, and so this is our return statement. Now, what does this return statement do? Well, it returns the result.
I don't understand this one. Okay. So let me just see. So I should have 9, 4, like 10, 9, 4. Thing, yeah. That's how it works. And then turn so. I'll make a new one. New script for this return thing. Local function. Actually, let me make a new script for returns. Let's see. Returns. And then, okay, the last script was local function. Why? Like, why is it telling me all the... I hate this AI. I genuinely hate this AI, bro. It literally told me it wrote the whole script for me at this point. Local function addition number 1, number 2. Local result equals number 1 plus number 2. So I'm gonna delete this. I know he's just gonna write this. Yeah, he literally wrote that. Might as well just undo that at that point. At this point. Wait, actually, let me write this. I wanna write this one myself. Return lowercase result.
Result of the calculation that we created back to where we called this function. So what we can do is create a variable that is attached to this function call so that we can take that value and then print it ourselves outside of this function. So what we're going to do is say local. We can call this print result just to make this just to differentiate this between this result, and we're going to set this equal to the function itself. So we're going to say addition, open close parentheses, and we can put in whatever two numbers we want inside of here. So we're going to say 8, and then for the second number, we're going to say 2, just like this, as we separate these by commas. And this is basically how we get the result. It's by calling this function, and then once we add these two numbers, we return the result. So it's going to go back into here, and that's what print result is going to be set equal to. So now if we go down here and then
what? Alright, look at that makes like no sense to me. What's the point of doing this instead of what's it called? Just doing the parameters and stuff. Local print result equals the function addition into
write our print statement with print results, just like this. If we go into the game, hit play, then what we should see in the output is...
Okay, so then now while doing this, we're gonna have to print the result. So like print. I don't understand. What's the point of writing all this extra code, right? Just to do the same thing. And like less, like, let's see. So this should be 10. Yeah. Number 1 plus and number 2. Okay. Oh, that scared me for a second. I was looking, I'm like, why is this top on top? Why is this part of the script, like, the notes from that script in here? Oh, wow, that actually scared me. Okay. So, local function addition. So that's the parameters. This is the calculations happening. This is return. Nope. I look, you don't understand return, but... Alright, so the return is here, and then we like calculate this is the argument that goes into the calculations, and it gets printed outside of the function, pretty much.
10, because we did exactly what the script is supposed to do with return statements. So we create a variable on the outside, we set this equal to addition with our two numbers right here. These two numbers are then added, and then we use this return statement to return the result back to the print result variable. And so now we are printing that result
Return can also be used to exit out of functions, which means that it can end the function at whatever line it is called, and the rest of the function will not run.
And that is how we use return statements inside of Roblox Studio. I hope this part has made sense to you so far. And if it has, this has been one of the more difficult things to learn about. So I can commemorate you if you've been able to follow along up until this point. So now what?
Sure, we wrote it down here. Return is like giving an answer back after doing some work. In this video, we created a function and to add two numbers together and return the result outside of the function. A simple way of writing functions. Returns let you use the result of the function in other parts of the script. Without return, the function would not work, but not the function would do the work but not give you the answers back. I made returns look confusing because of the variables like result and print result when you don't need them, so my apologies on that. Okay, so wait. Okay, after we call return, the function stops and the rest of the code below the function doesn't run. Okay, so let's use an if, bro. This function asks to give if the number is either plus. To calculate the bill for you. After calculating, they give you the receipt back to you. You can decide whether to put this receipt in your wallet or use it for reimbursement. Print the result. Okay. The value exists for a specific reason. Another analogy, it's like when a cashier finishes totaling the bill and loudly announces the amount, but then immediately throws away the receipt. You cannot use this result for further calculation. Okay, so basically, I think I slightly understand that. Like, it's like, it gives the answers, like, it does all the calculations, does like all the work, right? But then when you return it, it like tells you, without the return, it's pretty much like the information just like comes once, but with the return, it kind of like saves, like you could like use the information later on, and like you could like yeah, pretty much, yeah, like if you want to use the information from those calculations in like a different part of the script, right, you could do it with the return, I think. So yeah, I think that's what it means. I'm kind of confused by the explanation, but
What I'm going to do is hit
I'll figure
stop,
it
and
out.
that is basically going to be
Yeah.
it for this episode. Now, I want you to keep in mind that up until this point, we haven't really been saving our work. It is very important to save our work after we do anything important so that we don't lose any progress. So I'm going to go hit File, and then we're going to hit Save to File. Now, you can also hit Control S, S for Snake, so that we can save our game whenever we make changes to the game. So that's one more thing I wanted to add before we ended off this video. For today's learning objective, what I want you to do is make more functions. So I want you to make a function for subtraction. You can even do multiplication and division as well, or you could even add more numbers to add as well. So you can have another parameter right here, so number 3, and you can do more
parameters
calculations
could you
like
even have?
dividing number 3 or something. There's a lot of possibilities you can have with this. You can add more parameters. You can make more functions that returns results or doesn't return results. You have a lot of capabilities and leeway for this learning objective, so I hope you make something really great out of this learning objective. And once again, go down to the comments once you're finished and paste in whatever code you made so that other people can see what you've been doing that you're comfortable sharing. So with that being said, that's going to be it for this episode. I will see you in the next episode.
Okay, so honestly, what are people doing, please? Someone did this. Use this, you think? Here you go. Okay. Local functions, print ABC. Okay. Whoa. Explain ridiculously easy crap was all already know like 5 plus times each. Then you get to stuff like this and skip and bounce all over the place. Not teacher at all. Learn to bro, why is there so many hate comments? Local function, okay, let's see. Return result. Print result. Oh, this one, okay, this one's a lot better. Funny brick XD equals game something, okay. Okay, I wanna search up how returns work. Roblox Studio. Roblox Studio. Return. How do they work? In Roblox Studio scripting, the return keywords send a value out of a function back to the spot where it was called, and it instantly stops the rest of the function from running. Returns a value when called in a function. Whoever called it will immediately stop the function and return the given value. Okay, so it stops. Okay, I think I get that a little bit. It does a return. While true do. Local function multiply AB, return AB and. Okay, so how would I restart a while true do function do statement after it breaks? Yeah. Wait. When I have no clue what the hell this is. For IV in pairs, do v destroy end. Item clone parent dot parent equals equip pet folder. Oh my! Look at how many variables. Yo, that's crazy. If I'm able to do that, that would be like the craziest thing on earth. Wow. This is That's gonna take a long time to learn, bro. Need like lock in. Yeah, so I think I understand it really a little bit, but I'll just practice using it until like I figure it out. Okay, so let's make another one. Oh. I want to make one with like four. I want to make one with like four for like I want to use all the operators or whatever, like the operations or whatever they're called, like all the math signs, right? And I want to make like a function and use return with that as well. So okay, let's try. So local print. Oh no. Let's make a function. Local function. Let's call this mathematics. Mathematics. I probably did not spell that right. Right. Mathematical. yeah, that's right here. Mathematics. Okay. So he said you could write also N1, N2, N3, N3. Bro, what if I just called him like? Do I have to name them all this like different names? Why can't I not just name them the same thing? Like that would get kind of confusing though when calling him. Like when writing the calculation. Okay. Local. Okay. So now local function mathematics n1, n2, n3, n4. Local. Let's also make this another result. No, wait. Okay. Local result equals n1 plus plus what? Plus n2 minus minus n3. I think I might need 4. Wait, I might need 5 variables. 5 things. So n1 plus n2 minus n3 times n4 divided by n5. 5, okay. And then return. Okay. I wanna write this without the return right now. So print result. So okay. So now if I call on this and then write all the things, bro, I don't even know how to write this. Mathematics. Okay. Write that, and then let's do. Okay, I need to start off with like a huge number. So let's do 50 plus 70. Then it's gonna minus the next one. So minus 20 times by 4. So let's just do times by 5 divided by 2. Okay. So this should give me like okay, let's do the math here. So that'll be 120, 100. 100 times 5 is 500, and 500 divided by 2 is 250. So it should give me 250. Wait. Am I looking stupid? Wait, I might be stupid. It gave me 70. Wait a minute. Okay. 50 plus 70 is 120. 120 minus 20 is 100. 100 times 5 is 500. 500 divided by 2 would be 250, wouldn't it? Oh. Okay. I probably have to change this one, so I'll call this one result 2. Okay, that's probably why it was returning that outside of the thing. Now I should get 70. What? That's 10. I'm confused, man. Yeah, I don't know how I got 70. Something is, it's working, but I'm testing. It's working, but like, it's not giving the right answer, I think. Or I'm just stupid and I don't know how math works. which is probably what is happening. But yeah, let's see. So I wanna use a return now. So local function. Let's call this division n1 and 2 local result 3 equals divided by 2. Now return result 3, and then now outside of this we have to write the thing. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna try writing this on my own. It's probably gonna be wrong, but okay. So local function division 1 and 1 and 2 local result 3. Yeah, so now outside of this we have to remember local. Bro, I don't want to look at this thing. So we gotta write local print, oh no, lowercase print result, so 2 equals this, or thing equals division, and then we have to write our numbers. So 250, 50 and 5, so that should be 10. And then down here we print these results. So print results 2. So now this one, why is it giving this error thing? Oh. That wouldn't work. It's giving an error for this local. Oh, it's uppercase. Okay. Yeah, okay. So I should give 10. Okay, that worked. That actually worked. Okay, I think I understand. I think I understand how to use the return. I don't understand what it does really, but like I kind of get it. So let's go to the next one. It's already been like 50 minutes. We might as well go to the next one. I want to try getting as many of these videos like before my brain stops working.
We tried all the big names here.
Welcome back to my Roblox beginner scripting tutorial series. My name is Braldev, and in this episode we'll be discussing about if statements.
I remember this one.
But we're also going to be talking about else if statements and also else statements.
Oh, shoot. I start from the beginning. Oh, this one, if statements, bro. This is gonna be a banger, bro. I remember this one a lot. Like, I think I have the most knowledge of this one. This one, it's pretty I understand it more than returns, bro. I think. Okay, let's start.
Welcome back to my Roblox beginner scripting tutorial series. My name is Braldev, and in this episode we'll be discussing about if statements. But we're also going to be talking about else if statements and also else statements, since they all tie to the same concept. So the first thing we're going to do is go on the right side and
I don't even have to watch it to know. What the hell is this? Yo. Anyways, you don't even have to tell me what to do anymore. I know it now. I know the routine. I got it. I got everything down. So else, okay, so if I think, oh, I messed up. If statements, let's go to this one, and yeah.
We're going to disable any previous script we've made in the past couple episodes. So the one that's currently active is my function script, so I'm just going to disable this. And I'm going to insert a new script inside of the workspace by hitting the plus sign. searching up a script and inserting a script inside of the workspace. I'm going to select this, right click, and I'm going to rename it to if statements, just like this, hit enter. And I'm also going to X out these tabs for these previous scripts just to make things more organized. And I'm also going to zoom in by holding control and moving inward just like this so we can see the text better. And now we have our proper setup for what we're going to be talking about for this episode. Okay, now if statements, it's a fundamental concept that we need to know when it comes to adding logic to our scripts if we want to have a structure of executing specific codes if conditions are met. So what I'm talking about here with conditions is we're going to start with a if keyword in all lowercase, so it's going to look like this. And when we're making a conditional statement, it's tied to a Boolean value to determine if a condition either returns true or either returns false. So an example I can give you is if we were to see if 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, which obviously conditional statement, it's tied to a Boolean value to determine if a condition either returns true or either returns false. So an example I can give you is if we were to see if 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, which obviously it is true, but if we were to type this out, so if we were to say 2 plus 2 equals 4, just like this, then we would have a true Boolean be returned with this conditional. Now you might see some errors here, and you might be wondering what this is all about. We can't use a single equal sign if we're trying to compare two numbers together. So 2 plus 2, that's 4, equals 4. Because this single equal sign is supposed to be an assignment operator. So we're trying to essentially set whatever's on the left side to whatever's on the right side. But if we're just doing a comparison, then what we need to do is add another equal sign just like this to make it a comparison operator and not an assignment operator. And so once we
Okay, so I know it's like a pattern now for all the the things that we're learning. They're pretty much like all lowercase. So yeah, I kind of noticed that now. So yeah, so if two plus 2 equals 4, then I remember the then part. It's always
do
you have to
this,
write
then what we're going to do on the right
About,
side is
like,
say
after
then, just like this. So if 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, then what we're going to do is hit enter, and then Roblox is going to add an end keyword at the end here. So basically, if 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, then we can run whatever's inside of this branch. So we're going to write a print statement saying that 2 plus 2 does equal to 4, just like this. So now if we go into the game and hit test and hit play, then what we should see 2 does equal to 4, just like this.
Okay, so then print 2 plus 2 does equal 4. I also noticed another thing. Whenever you're actually like printing the thing, you have to put the quotations in. And when you're printing like an answer or something, then you just don't have if 2 plus 2 equals to 4, then print. Okay. Equals to 4, then print 2 plus 2 does equal to 4. Okay, that works.
So now if we go into the game and hit test and hit play, then what we should see in the output is that 2 plus 2 does indeed equal to 4. Now, let me tell you what happens if this does not equal to 4. So if I hit stop and I go back into our script, and then if I were to say if 2 plus 3 is equal to 4, which in this case it's not true because 2 plus 3 is equal to 5, if we go into the game and hit play, then what we should see in the output is nothing being printed because 2 plus 3 does not equal to 4. That's why it basically skipped this line, so it's not going to print out this statement right here. So I'm going to hit stop again, and now that's basically how we have our first branch with if statements, but there's more we can add on top of this, and the next branch I can show you is an else statement. So basically what we're going to do is inside of our block of code we have over here, we're going to drop 2 lines like this. It could be 1 or 2 lines, it doesn't really matter. And I'm going to hit backspace so that we have proper indentation right here to line up with the if keyword. So we're going to say else just like this, and then we're going to hit enter. So then what we're going to do is add another print statement like this, saying the if statement failed, just like this. So what's going to happen here is it's going to check if 2 plus 3 is equal to 4. And if it's not true, then it's going to go down to this else statement and it's going to print out whatever is inside of this block of code right here. So if we go...
Okay, that's pretty cool, I can't lie. So... oh. Okay, so if 2 plus 2 equals to 4, then print this. Else... that's what I wrote it. Else like this.
Go into the game and hit, and it's going to print.
I wrote it like this. Else print. Else print. The if statement failed. So it should print this. The if statement failed, since 2 plus 2 does not actually equal to 3. So
print out what.
wait a minute, wait. I just realized something. What if, you know how we did the parameters? What if you put these like if statements and stuff with like the parameters inside a function? That would actually be kind of cool. I can't lie. Like, bro, I wanna get rid of this ad, bro. This ad is like actually. Bro, how do I freaking get rid of this ad, bro? I don't want to see this ad, man.
Whatever is inside of this block of code right here. So if we go into the game and hit play, then what we should see is that the if statement failed because we tried checking if 2 plus 3 is equal to 4, which we know is not true.
Not true, yeah.
So that is something you can do with the else statement. And once again, some things to keep in mind is you need to have your else keyword line up with the if statement. It can't be over here. And it most certainly cannot be, I don't know, over here or something. It has to line up with the if statement, and you need to have each branch be indented like this for each part of the if statement. So I'm going to hit stop, and that is basically how we add an else statement to it. But now I'm going to show you what an else if statement is. So an else if statement is basically another if statement that gets checked if the first if statement fails. So basically what it's going to look like is we're going to...
infinite else if statements, technically? Wait, what if you just spam
2 lines again here, and I'm going to hit backspace so that we line up with the if and the else accurately. So we're going to say else if, just like this. So this is one word, else if. We're going to say if 2 plus 2 equals to 4. And then we're going to hit enter, and now what we can do here is say print, open and close parentheses, 2 plus 2 does actually equal to 4 here, just to like differentiate it a little bit.
Okay, so oh,
So
so else if, so else in between this, so gotta be same thing. Else if 2 plus 2 is plus 2 plus 2 equals to 4, then what? Then what? Oh shoot. Okay. Okay. So else if 2 plus 2 equals to 4, then print. Okay, then we got print 2 plus 2 does equal to does equal to 4 here.
we first start with our if statement. So 2 plus 3 does not equal to 4, so it's going to skip this, and it's going to go down here to check if 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. This is true, so it's going to print this statement, and it's going to skip the else because we know that this is true. So if we go into the game and hit play, then we should see in the output that 2 plus 2 does actually equal to 4 here. So that is our if statement structure that we have going on here that I think you'll find to be extremely useful. Now, we can add more else if statements if we want to here. So if we drop a line and then go down here, we can write another else if here by saying if 1 plus 1 equals to 2, then we can print 1 plus 1 does equal to 2, just like this. And we're also going to change this to something different so that we can make sure that this one passes through.
So basically, you just bam else if statements. So let's write another else if. So else if, okay, so if the if statement fails and the else if statement fails, then you can go to the next else if statement. Pretty much it. So okay, let's do this. Else if 1 plus what did I click? No. So if 1 plus 1 equals to 2, then print 1 plus 1 plus 1 does 2 here. Okay, that pretty much worked, yeah. So
sure that this one passes through correctly. So if we hit play, then what we should see is 1 plus 1 does equal to 2. So if we hit stop and go back to our script, we can see how this logic applies, because we start here, it doesn't work. We then go over here, it doesn't work. And then we go over here, it does work, so then it prints the message, and it basically skips the else if nothing works. The only time it would go into the else is if all of these statements did not work. So you can kind of understand the structure going on here, and it's definitely very important to understand if a certain criteria or condition is met, then we're going to execute a specific part of the code and not execute the other parts of the code if we don't need to have that. Now, this is going to be useful for our functions that we've created in previous episodes, so that's actually what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to select everything here, so I'm going to hit Control A, and I'm going to hit backspace. So now what we're going to do is create our addition function just like we did in previous episodes by saying local function addition.
whoa. Okay.
Open and close parentheses, and then we're going to pass in 2 arguments. So the first argument is going to be number 1, and then we're going to separate this with a comma.
Local function addition. So let's just write in the same thing, I can't lie. So local function addition and 1 2.
And then we're going to have number 2 as our second parameter. So then we're going to hit enter. And then what we're going to do is have our if statement structure inside of this addition function so that we can print stuff depending on what the result is from this. So what we're going to do is...
Oh, yeah. So, like, what I was saying, like, before, pretty much. I'm not even joking, like, I don't even remember this part, but I just, like, knew that it would, like, make sense together, you know? Like, okay. So, pretty much, okay, so... wait, I think one of these had if statements as well. Bro, I don't understand how someone writes this. While true, do wait if char find first child item dot name, then if not SW, then FL equals FLine plus float inc. If FL is less than or equals to or something, less than equals max float, then SW equals true, and else if FL, oh, if, okay, look, okay, and else FL equals FL minus float inc. What is float inc, bro? Yeah. Oh. Local CF equals torso dot C frame times C frame dot new 3 comma 2 plus FL comma 3 pet plus body position dot position equals vector 3 dot new. What the hell did they just write? What? Are we actually being serious right now? How does someone understand what they wrote? Right? Like, that sounds like a completely new language, bro. What the hell? Wow, that's crazy.
Write a result.
Hopefully I can get to that level someday, but like, my, that's crazy, bro. That's a new crazy, bro.
Variable by saying local result equals number 1 plus number 2, just like this, and then we're going to drop 2 lines down here, and then we're going to make an if statement. So we're going to say,
so local function addition n1 plus n comma n2 local another variable, no, local results equals n1 plus n2 n1 plus n. Okay, then
if result equals 4. So once again, make sure you're using 2 equal signs, not 1 equal sign, because we're comparing values together rather than a...
Bro, like, this was exactly what I was about to write. I was actually about to write that, and it just freaking knew what I was gonna write. Single equal sign means to assign a value, and double equal sign means to compare a value. Let's write this right here. Short sample. Single equal sign means to assign a value, and double equal sign means to compare a value. Okay, that looks good. and then he wrote, okay, and here he wrote if result equals to 4, double equal 4, then
assigning variables. So we're going to say then we're going to make a print statement by saying the result is equal to 4, and then we're going to make an else if statement by saying else if
the result is 4, else if else, so SB same line, so tab. Oh, okay, I did not mean to just write everything, bro. So Control Z to go back. Okay, so if result equals 4, then once, else if result equals to something, then
if result equals to, let's say, 6, then we're going to make a print statement by saying the result is equal to 6, just like
else if result equals to 6, then we'll print the
this. And if both of these fail, then we're just going to write an else statement. Once again, make sure that the alignment is correct over here. So we're going to say else, and then we're going to say print none of these results add up. Just like that.
okay, else. So then I'll write an else statement. So else else print none of the result correct.
And so now we're going to call this
Oh wait, could we use like returns in this as well? That would be crazy. Like if we could use a return in this
addition function down here by saying addition, open and close parentheses. So the first number we're going to add is 2, 2. So it's going to fall under this branch. And then we're going to make another addition function call right here. And then we're going to put 3 and 3 just like this. And then we're going to make another addition function call by saying 4 and 2. So both of these are going to fall under this one. And then we're going to make an addition function call for, I don't know, some big number like 10 and 10. So now what will happen is if we go into the game and hit play, then what we should see in the output...
Print all of them. Okay, so... Wow, this is the biggest script I've ever written, bro. Local... Wait, where does it even start? I should make this for a bit. Okay, so... Local function addition. Okay, so... How many lines is this? It's like 15 lines. Wow. Addition. And then, okay, so first one is 2 equals to 4, so 2 and 2. Wait, do I have to have the gap? It doesn't, the AI saying I don't really have to have the gap. Because like in here I always leave the gap. What if I just write this without the gaps? Okay. I don't know. I think you have to have the gap for that. Okay, addition. Wrote that wrong, yeah. Addition. 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 No, this one's gonna be 3, 3. Next one is gonna be same addition, 4 and 2, 4, 2. And the next one is going to be some big numbers, so something that doesn't fall into this. So 5 and 5, 5, 5 and 5. Yeah, so now this one should get printed 2 times, 1 time, 2 times, 1 time. The result is equal to 4. The result is equal to 2. The 6, 2 times. None of the results are correct.
Is the result is equal to 4, so it checked 2 and 2, which in this case it is true. Then it's going to check for 3 and 3, which does equate to 6, and then finally 4 and 2, which also equates to 6. So it printed this twice. And then obviously for 10 and 10, that equals to 20, which didn't fall into any of these conditions. So it went into the else statement saying that none of these results added up. So this is how we can add our if statements to our functions, and you can probably think of other ways you can add this inside of your scripts now that we know that we can use conditions to execute code when it meets certain requirements.
Scoping.
So I'm just going to hit...
Wait, what are these next ones? Scoping, operators, wait, loops. I remember loops, and this is where I left off, like, the last time, like, the farthest I've gone trying to learn how to script. So on breaks. But scoping, I'm be honest, I actually don't remember what scoping is. And operators, loops, I think I remember a little bit. It's like you could pretty much like write how much you want that thing to loop. And breaks, I think just like stop the loop or something. But I don't remember what scoping is.
Stop, and that is essentially the end of understanding if statements. One final thing I want to mention here is understanding what happens if we have 2 if statements. So I'm actually going to delete this else and else if statement over here. So I'm just going to select these 2 and then hit backspace and then backspace again. So now let's see what happens if we have another if statement. So if we say if result equals to 4, then we're going to make a print statement by saying basically the same thing over here. So I'm just going to copy what was in here. So I'm going to hit Control C, and then I'm going to select this and then hit Control V just like this. And I'm also going to get rid of these 3 addition function calls right here just to have this one. So now if we go into the game, hit play, then what we should see in the output is the result is equal to 4 being printed out twice. Because if we go inside of our script, then it's first going to check if the result is equal to 4, then it does print this. But then it's going to go down here to check again if the result is equal to 4, then the result is equal to 4. Now, obviously, it doesn't have to be this condition specifically. Like, it doesn't have to be the same condition, but it has to be like 2 different if statements that meet the requirement of whatever this condition is to then execute both of these code blocks. Okay. So that is something important to know about when you're using if statements, is that if you have multiple if statements, then it's going to check for each of these if statement blocks. But if you have an if, and else structure, then it's only going to fall under one of those code blocks. And I hope that makes sense to you. So that's basically going to be it for this episode. For today's learning objective, you basically have a lot of power with what you want to do with these if statements and also functions and all these other sorts of things. So I want you to definitely experiment with this before you move on to the next episode and see what you can come up with. And once you do that, then I want you to go down to the comment section and paste your code that you feel comfortable sharing to everybody who's watching these tutorial guides as well. And with that being said, that's going to be it for this episode. I will see you in the next one.
Okay, I have an idea now. What if using these like if statements and stuff, I could like do, you know, like the brick color, like I could like change the brick color. So like let's say if let's say like if the brick color is red, then it will change to blue. and then it would go to the next one, and it would like print it as well, like saying that it's changed to the next one. And it could go like in like a loop kind of, like, you know, like in order. Like, I don't know if that will work, but let's try. So okay, if I remember, so let's find a part. Let's see. So this one's already blue, so I should use this. So it was so how am I gonna make this? So start off with the color thing. So game dot workspace. Oh, so case game dot workspace. Wait, first actually wait. Let me make a variable for this. Local local part. Let's just call this part equals game dot workspace dot cube part. Okay. So now down here we could do if part dot brick color, brick color. If part dot brick color equals double equal local part equals game dot workspace dot cube part. If part dot brick color equals brick color dot new. Wouldn't that not change the brick color though? Equals, okay. So this is dark blue. Then print so local part equals game dot workspace dot cube part. So this variable basically is just defining the cube, right? And the cube part, so we can change the property. And this one here is saying if this the like cube parts brick color is that brick color. I'm not sure if you have to have the brick color dot new for this, but pretty much like I'm just gonna keep it because that's what the AI was saying. I trust the AI more than myself. I can't lie. Okay, so then print. Okay, so then if part dot brick color equals brick color dot new dark blue, and print. Then okay, so then let's make it say print this part. This part is dark blue. But now was dark now is yellow. Yellow. Okay, so local part equals game dot workspace dot cube part. If part dot brick color equals to this, then print this. Okay, so now we gotta change this. So part so all caps part dot brick color equals, now we gotta change the brick color, so brick color dot new this, then we change to new yellow. New yellow. Why is new yellow all caps? Wait, why are all the other colors like, they're all lowercase, the second one, right? Why is new yellow all caps? Both like both words are caps. So new yellow, okay. So if part okay, print this part was dark blue and now is yellow. Brick color dot new, okay, so then we change it to yellow. Now let's write a else if else if the part, I wanna write else if the part was, no wait, okay, let's write else actually. Else print else print the part was not blue, was not dark blue and is now black. Okay, so now we could change this thing into that. So part dot brick color okay, now let's print the part was not dark blue, was not black. Part dot brick color equals to brick color dot new into this, and then the color is going to be black. What's black? Really black. Okay, so really black. Okay, so now, okay, if this does work, it should be yellow, and then we could try changing the color and see if that works. So okay, I don't know if the results are correct. This part was dark blue and now it's now yellow. Yeah. Okay, that worked. Okay, let's see the next one. So now if I change this color, if I change color into, let's see, that's okay, that's dark blue. If I change to lapis, now it should turn black because it's not blue, it's not dark blue. This part was not dark blue and it now is black, and now it's black. Yeah. Yo, that actually worked. Wait a minute, why did that actually work? Wait, okay, so now wait, local part equals game dot workspace dot cube part else. Okay, so let's see. Okay, if I had an else if now, else if the part if the part is, what can I do now? How do I make it? How do I make it so like if it's not that certain color, then like else if, okay, no, that's pretty much like else though, because I kind of wrote like if it's not that color, then it turns into that. Okay, anyways, I think that was crazy though. That's like technically a real script, like my first own real script. Wow. Now how do I make it so like it changes into different colors? Like, okay, so if I write I have an idea, but I don't know if it's gonna work though. I wanted to, you know how there's like parameters and stuff? I wanted to like make it so it's like in a function, and then like there's like a parameter, right? And that parameter would be inside the brick color dot new thing. So basically you could write your color and it'll turn that like the part into that color, but I don't think that will work though, really. And I don't think I'm that like skilled to make it work like that right now. But okay, local part equals game.workspace.cube part. Okay, so um okay, I need a specific color. Let's see. Okay, so if it is green, oh yeah, nah, I think I think I'll work on the script afterwards. I want to go to the next video now. This was crazy. I'm honestly like shocked that I could actually make something like this just from watching like 8 videos only. Yeah, these videos are like 10 minutes long, so I pretty much just spent like 80 minutes like learning how to script technically from these videos, like watching these videos, and I already learned how to like make some basic scripts. Yeah, it's actually kind of crazy. So okay.
Welcome back to my
Okay, it's kind of, this video is kind of getting a bit longer than I wanted to, and this is probably like the last one I'm gonna watch, but I'll see if I'm gonna finish this whole video or I'm just gonna watch it because I think scoping might
Roblox
be
beginner scripting tutorial series.
so
My name is
hard.
Braldev, and in this episode we'll be discussing about scoping. Now,
Bro,
this is once again
these video loops are so long, 18 minutes long. And table 27, 23 final game. Okay, tables. What are tables, bro? It's literally a thing of a table. Alright, let's start this video.
another important concept we need to know about, and before I'm able to explain it to you, what we're going to do is first go inside of one of our scripts that we've already created.
Yeah, I think this is where I'm gonna call it like the end. Like, I think I'm kind of getting a bit tired now, and yeah, I have to edit this video, and it's already like 6 p.m. while I'm filming this. So, anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. What's good, guys? It's currently 2:50 p.m. a.m. and yeah, I just finished editing this video. I can't even lie, like I learned a lot during this video. Like, I actually like learned a lot more than I thought I would, and I'm pretty happy that I made my like first like real script technically. And yeah, so anyways, I'm gonna post this and go. Bye.